Good evening, you're watching the QTV News at 7. The headlines. The Road Transport and Safety Agency ROTSA has disclosed that it collected over 500 million kwacha as revenue on behalf of government in the third quarter of 2016. Speaker of the National Assembly Dr. Patrick Batilini has referred to the Privileges Committee the complaint made against opposition UPND MPs who boycotted last Friday's ceremonial opening of Parliament. One of the most powerful Atlantic hurricanes in recent years has hit Haiti, bringing 230 kilometers winds, heavy rain, and dangerous storm surges. With the details, my name is Michelle Malunga. The Road Transport and Safety Agency ROTSA in the third quarter of 2016 has collected a total of 565,593,056 kwacha as revenue on behalf of government. During the same period last year, the agency made a collection of 444,850 kwacha, which shows an increment of 12,877,089 kwacha, representing an increase of 19% in revenue collection. Briefing journalists in Lusaka today, ROTSA Chief Executive Officer Zindawa Soko says statistics show that a total of 1,100 people died from road carnages in the first half of this year, and that it is disturbing to note that most fatalities from road accidents involve public service vehicles on major roads. Mr. Soko says this trend has persisted for some time now, with the most recent one being the Serenge bus accident involving a power tools bus. Mr. Soko says the agency, in an effort to reduce road traffic crashes through the use of new technological developments, has also procured portable speed cameras to avert the problem of overspeeding on the Zambian roads as a factor that has been associated with most fatal road traffic accidents recorded involving PSVs, the recent Serenge one included. He says the cameras have been distributed to all parts of the country across the major highways. He states that ROTSA, in collaboration with the Zambia Police Service, will soon be developing a robust education, enforcement, and monitoring and evaluation framework that will be used by stakeholders. Mr. Soko has also disclosed that ROTSA will soon be recommending that all transport operators must have road safety management policies as a requirement for grant of an operator's license. He furthermore discloses that in order to avert road carnage, the agency will be introducing the Global Positioning Satellite GPS to strengthen monitoring of drivers on the road. He says the agency is also seriously considering reviewing the road traffic post-care management systems in order to introduce better post-crash care management of all road traffic accident victims. Tourism and Arts Minister Charles Banda has observed the need to look at tourism as a business venture. Speaking during the official opening of a regional workshop on intangible cultural heritage, ICH policy development in Southern Africa in Lusaka this morning, Mr. Banda says there is need to formulate policies and plans that will allow the creation of a business environment that goes along with aspects of ICH. Mr. Banda says standalone policies and legislation on ICH that do not support the cultural and creative industries should not be encouraged. He says there is need to encourage policies in the region that will not operate in silos but speak to each other with the aim of achieving objectives that will encourage a positive business environment. And Mr. Banda says culture remains the only aspect of people's lives that maintains identity, preservation, and self-esteem. He says this is why government takes seriously matters of preserving and promoting culture.
Therefore, comes at the right time, especially for Zambia, when major policy changes, shifts, and implementation are in the process. I therefore urge the participants to come out of this workshop with tangible ideas on how direction can be given to cultural policies in our various countries. I'm aware that the UNESCO 2003 Convention on Intangible Cultural Heritage has been ratified by most African countries, including those attending this workshop. This convention is very important as a guide in the preservation and promotion of culture in our countries.
And Zambia National Commission for UNESCO Secretary General Dr. Charles Ndakala says the 2003 Convention Project on Sub-Regional Cooperation and National Capacities is among the international instruments UNESCO uses to address the challenges of cultural diversity at international level. He says the initiative UNESCO has taken to encourage countries to domesticate the convention will help to enable implementation of the convention at national level.
This program is related to the framework of the 2003 Convention project on strengthening the sub-regional cooperation and national capacities in the countries on the Southern African sub-region. Basically, the principal objective of this activity is to reinforce national capacities in safeguarding of the intangible cultural heritage of the communities in the Southern African region, that is of Botswana, Lesotho, Malawi, Namibia, Swaziland, Zambia, and Zimbabwe.
Speaker of the National Assembly Patrick Mativini has retained himself as chairman of the Standing Orders Committee of the National Assembly, and Dr. Mativini has appointed Republican Vice President Inonge Wina, Finance Minister Felix Mtati, and Chief Whip Richard Musukwa as members of the committee. He has also appointed Leader of the Opposition Jack Mwimbu, Muchinga Member of Parliament Howard Kunda, and Chilubi Member of Parliament Rosaria Fundanga as members of the committee. The other member of parliament that has been appointed to the committee is independent Lumezi lawmaker Gertrude Jerry. Dr. Mativini made the announcement this afternoon in Parliament. Meanwhile, Dr. Mativini has referred to the Privileges Committee the complaint made against opposition UPND MPs who boycotted last Friday's ceremonial opening of Parliament. The complaint was made by Government Chief Whip Richard Musukwa following the absence of the UPND MPs during proceedings. And Dr. Mativini has told the House that once he constitutes the Privileges Committee, this matter, which he has described as grieve, will be attended to. This was after Lupososhi MP Chungu Walia raised a point of order seeking a ruling on whether the UPND MPs were in order to assort the decorum of the House by boycotting its proceedings on Friday.
When you think water, think Aquamax. Aquamax, healthy drinking water, a product from Californian Beverages.
Hatch your eggs with Bledge Incubators. We stock full automatic incubators with high hatching rate above 90%. Our incubators are of different sizes and hatching capacity at unbelievable prices. For details, call the distributor on 0966 806628 or 0950 610285. Bledge Incubators. Hatch your way. Hatch your eggs with Bledge Incubators. We stock
on the patriotic front before elections. They pretend
We continue with the news. Police in Petauke of Eastern Province have apprehended 3 teachers of Nyamia Basic School in connection with missing grade 9 examination papers. Police spokesperson Esther Katongo says it was reported that the examination papers were in the custody of the trio, and when it was time for pupils to write examinations yesterday, 3rd October, it was discovered that some copies were missing. Ms. Katongo has disclosed that these include 75 copies of English examination, 75 copies of Integrated Science Paper 1, 25 copies of Business Studies, 25 copies of Mathematics Paper 2, 40 copies of Social Studies, 30 copies Integrated Science Paper 1. She says the suspects, who have been identified as Mwasengulube, aged 34, Mwaka Nyambe, aged 36, and Leonard Piri, aged 29, are in police custody charged with the offense of loss or misuse of examination papers, contrary to Section 20, Cap 137 of the Laws of Zambia, an act that regulates examinations. Meanwhile, Ms. Katongo says the Zambia police is saddened by the recent occurrences where unscrupulous people have resorted to burning makeshift stalls in markets within Lusaka, with the recent case being that of burning makeshift stalls in Luangwa Township on 30th September. She has warned perpetrators of these barbaric acts that such acts will not go unpunished. She says police will ensure that all those that have turned to the habit of burning people's property for whatever reason are brought to book and dealt with accordingly. Ms. Katongo has appealed to well-meaning Zambians to join hands with the police by bringing forward intelligence information that will lead to the apprehension of such criminals before more property is lost. She states that police have since intensified both day and night patrols in residential and business areas to ensure utmost protection of innocent people's property. 4 civil society organizations have advocated for women in the country to have equal land rights. The Rural Women Assembly, Action Aid Zambia, Zambia Land Alliance, and Oxfam have campaigned for equality and rights for women to own land. Speaking at a press briefing today, Action Aid Country Director Nalucha Ziwa says women should have fair access to land just like men, especially those in rural areas. Ms. Ziwa notes that many of the women have first-hand experience of unjust practices linked to unequal land rights, such as forced evictions and unfair inheritance practices. And Rural Women Assembly Zambia Executive Secretary Susan Chilala has revealed that one of the reasons women have no access to land is traditional norms which give priority to men as sole owners of land. She says there is need for such norms to be done away with to enhance women's access to land. Meanwhile, Oxfam Agriculture Manager Robbie Mwinga has also emphasized the need for government to come up with flexible policies that will enhance women's access to land in Zambia. The Ministry of General Education has assured the nation that it is ready to conduct this year's Information Communication Technology (ICT) examinations for Grade 9. Ministry spokesperson Hilary Chipango says the Grade 9 ICT examinations will be written in 3 consecutive days. Mr. Chipango says the decision was arrived at due to the limited number of computers available to enable pupils write the exams at the same time. Mr. Chipango says the ministry has also identified 300 schools countrywide where they have donated computers to curb the shortage. He notes that last year's ICT exam results were not impressive, owing to the fact that it was the first time pupils were being exposed to such technology. And Mr. Chipango adds that the ministry hopes to improve the way that these exams are administered by providing adequate computers to enable exams run smoothly. He has since urged parents to remain calm as last year's situation will not repeat itself. Last year, Grade 9 ICT exams came with a lot of irregularities, with some pupils writing at awkward hours due to inadequate computers. We take a break. We'll be back right after this. But you know, ever since that thing came out, this thing doesn't sit properly.
Hey, brother, there's an endless road to rediscover. Oh, the sky comes falling down. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. What if I'm far from home? Oh, brother, I will hear you call. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. Have some Manzi Valley, pure and natural Manzi Mineral. You can have it anytime, anywhere. Hey, Manzi Mineral.
You're still watching the QTV News. The opposition UPND has called on government to ensure that it pays farmers who supply the maize to the Food Reserve Agency FRA for them to adequately plan for the coming rain season. UPND Chairman for Rural Reconstruction and Development, Mono Mapani, says it is unfortunate that government has not paid some farmers who supply their maize to the agency and wonders how the farmers can prepare for the coming farming season. Mr. Mapani says he has been going around the country to see how the forthcoming farming season, and that it has come to his attention that contrary to what the government promised of paying the farmers on time, most of them have not been paid. He says in order to avoid frustrating the farmers, the government through the FRA should ensure that they pay all farmers their dues so that they prepare well for this farming season. He has also observed the high prices of fertilizer and other farming inputs in the country, saying this will no doubt affect production. Meanwhile, Mr. Mapani, who is also a human rights lawyer, has admonished stakeholders condemning UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema for wanting to take his case to the International Criminal Court ICC, saying it is a democratic right.
We are happy with the speech. We think it was a recommendable speech. But the brilliance of the speech will only be as brilliant as it can be when it is reflected in the implementation. Because failure to that, then it will just be a speech, like any other speech. But we feel
Lusaka Deputy Mayor Chitangala Chilando says Lusaka is suffering from a sanitation crisis. Speaking when she opened a one-day editors awareness workshop on Lusaka sanitation program in Kifua today, Ms. Chilando says this crisis claims lives through annual outbreaks of cholera and dysentery and causes severe environmental pollution. She says access to sanitation is particularly lower in peri-urban settlements, as sanitation provision is generally let to the residents who mostly use unsafe pit latrines, of which most of them are in poor conditions. Ms. Chilando says sanitation and hygiene is key to human development and that this is why the government is focused on improving sanitation not only in Lusaka but all the provinces. She notes that with the population of Lusaka projected to grow to close to 5 million by 2030, the challenge of sanitation will significantly increase. And speaking earlier, Lusaka Water and Sewage Company Interim Managing Director Manuel Mutale says once the sanitation project is complete, the quality of life will drastically improve for the people of Lusaka. He says water-related illnesses will also reduce because people will no longer resort to unsafe alternatives because of lack of safe and clean water. The Lusaka sanitation program is being financed by the European Investment Bank, the German Development Bank, the African Development Bank, and the World Bank. Paradigm Zambia, an on-profit social enterprise, that mentors young people to become epitomes of success in their communities, has encouraged the PF government to formulate policies that will reduce alcohol abuse among young people in the country. Paradigm Zambia Director Operations Chisenga Chimambo tells QTV News in an interview that the alcohol sector is being guided by bylaws which make it difficult to address all the challenges in the sector. Mr. Chimambo says the sector needs policies that will guide the issuance of liquor licenses in the country, unlike what is prevailing at the moment. He says in South Africa, for example, they are pressing for a bill that will bar people below the age of 21 to take alcohol, saying the country can emulate that country and come up with laws that will bring sanity in the alcohol sector.
The brilliance of the speech will only be as brilliant as it can be when it is reflected in the implementation, because failure to that, then it will just be a speech like any other speech. But we feel they should begin to look in the area, especially in our case, as Paradigm Zambia, we're in the mitigation of the abuse of alcohol and drug-related substances. So we need them to look seriously in this area. You cannot have a sector which has no policy, okay? This alcohol sector has never had a policy, so it's only being governed by bylaws, all right? And the very bylaws which are there, they're not really being enforced. Liquor licenses are just being given at random. You know, but there should be policies a policy which is supposed to govern, okay, and give guidance on how people can go about acquiring the licenses and on how they should be selling their alcohol. In South Africa right now, they are pressing for a bill which will only allow 21 years, okay, those who are 21 years and above to take alcohol, okay, of which I think is the right thing. But here we are in Zambia, we are still failing to come up with a policy in this area, which is definitely not a good sign.
We take another break. More news coming right up.
Have some Manzi, pure natural Manzi. You can have it anytime, anywhere. Hey, Manzi.
DMI St. Eugene University provides effective modern delivery, teaching methodology, internationally accepted and placement-oriented curriculum. We also have pre-university and a twin in-program guild that allows final year students to study in India for a year. We also offer a 4-year bachelor's degree, 3-year diploma, 3-year master's and PhD programs for the School of Education, Business Administration, Commerce, Social Work, with 20 points or A-level qualification. Enroll now for June intake 2016. We also offer 50% tuition concession to 2 grade 12 girl toppers among girls from each school. For more details, come to DMI St. Eugene University, Great North Road campus in Chibombo, or call us on 0977-613644 or email dmiseuzm@gmail.com. DMI, fully human, fully alive. DMI St.
Welcome back. The Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI, has added its voice in questioning the logic and government's intentions to create 4 more ministries. YALI governance advisor Isaac Mwanza says his organization does not understand the necessity of unbundling of some ministries to create new ones. In an interview with QTV News, Mr. Mwanza states that YALI is in fact wondering whether President Edgar Lungu has looked at the cost of creating such a number of new ministries. Mr. Mwanza states that his organization does not think the creation of more ministries is crucial, especially at a time that the the country is expecting International Monetary Fund (IMF) austerity measures. He says Yali thus agrees that with other stakeholders, advice that President Lungu should have waited until he knows what the status of the Zambian economy will be in the next 2 years.
When we're expecting austerity measures from the International Monetary Fund and trying to right the economy, that the creation of the 4 ministries would have been necessary at this time. We don't think so. I think that we agree with so many Zambians who think that the president should have first waited there for some time before creating these ministries to see what kind of economy we're going to have in the next 2 to 3 years. Otherwise, the monies that we'll be spending on these ministries, we could have them still in the relevant ministries. Look at Ministry of Local Housing, which has proposed, which was under local government. We think that it can still remain under local government. There will be no need to create another ministry. Ministry of Presidential Affairs.
The Human Rights Commission, HRC, has welcomed and supported the intention by President Lungu to create the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Environmental Protection and the Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure Development because of the potential to enhance promotion of access to clean and safe drinking water, adequate sanitation and decent and affordable shelter. HRC Chief of Information, Education and Training, Mwelua Molea, says the decision to create ministries with specific portfolios to facilitate effective and sufficient provision of water and sanitation services, as well as housing, will contribute to effective coordination and rationalization of financial and human resources, particularly in the water and sanitation subsector, thereby possibly lead to improved service delivery. Mr. Mulea says the Commission notes that the decision to create the state ministries is also in line with the aspirations of the majority Zambians who have been submitting to the various constitutional review commissions since the early 1990s that the right to water, sanitation, environmental protection and housing, among other economic, social, cultural and environmental rights, should be enshrined in the Bill of Rights. He says it is regrettable that the legal route of promoting and protecting economic, social, cultural and environmental rights was unsuccessful during the 11th August national referendum on amending the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of Zambia. He adds that it, however, is encouraging that the government is taking institutional and administrative measures aimed at promoting and protecting economic, social and cultural rights by establishing appropriate ministries. He says the provision of adequate, clean and safe drinking water, sanitation and shelter has over the years been given low priority in national planning and resource allocation, as demonstrated by the fact that these fundamental services are being provided through sections and units within departments in the respective ministries. He states that an estimated 1.3 million housing deficit the country is experiencing is yet another indication of the inadequate support to this critical sector of promoting rights to adequate standard of living. Mr. Mlea hopes that there will be matching human and financial resources to the creation of the Ministries of Water, Sanitation and Environmental Protection and Housing and Infrastructure, saying the creation of the stated ministries has the potential to alleviate poverty through reduced disease burden caused by preventable diseases and contribute to sustainable socio-economic development. The Professional Teachers Union of Zambia says the union is ready and well prepared for tomorrow's Teachers' Day celebration despite the lack of the regalia that the teachers are supposed to put on. Pro2's Public Relations Officer Matthews Nkata says the union is fully geared up for Teachers' Day celebrations despite the attire the teachers are supposed to wear is not yet in, but the attire has already been purchased. Speaking in an interview with QTV, Mr. Nkata says what has remained is just to transport the materials to Zambia. Ms. Nkata adds that as a union they would want to value the teachers and see to it that the status is improved according to the theme of this year, which is valuing teachers and improving the status. He has since assured the teachers that the union would want to make sure that the teachers' status to be improved in future despite the challenges they face, such as late payment of salaries.
Ready for tomorrow's celebration despite the lack of the regalia that teachers were supposed to put on. But we appeal to them that the regalia is already bought. What is just supposed to be done is to be transported to Zambia. That's all. Challenges, yes. The same challenges that we've been talking about is the issues of maybe, as you've alluded to, the issue of the courts. We went for elections, and these elections we had to elect in the new executive committee, which is operational right now. And these are the people who have been, these are the people that were the other people who failed to contest for the elections. They are the ones who went to court, and as they went to court, they were challenging the elections of the ones that are holding the offices today.
The ruling PF Women Leadership in Lusaka has encouraged women across the country who are positioning themselves for appointments by President Edgar Lungu to remain faithful to the party. PF Lusaka Province Women Chairperson Agnes Mumba says the women who were left out of the appointments have the duty to grow the party. Ms. Mumba says the women ought to work hard and help grow the party as they still stand a chance of being appointed in the near future. She says the president can still make reshuffles to his working team and the women with potential can be appointed, and thus the need for them to remain faithful and loyal to the party.
It's not to be appointed, that's when you can work in the part. There is a lot to do in the part. It's not appointment only. If you are not appointed, don't be disappointed. Next time it can be you. I don't think they can appoint everybody at one time, no. It's a bit by bit. Let's just wait patiently. And you can have chance of being appointed. So I'm advising the all women who are not appointed, let's wait patiently. The day will come. Let's put it, God's time is the best.
We take a recap of the local stories. The Road Transport and Safety Agency RATSA has disclosed that it collected over 500 million kwacha as revenue on behalf of government in the third quarter of 2016. Speaker of the National Assembly Dr. Patrick Mativini has referred to the Privileges Committee the complaint made against opposition UPND MPs who boycotted last Friday's ceremonial opening of Parliament. In international news, one of the most powerful Atlantic hurricanes in recent years has hit Haiti, bringing 230 kilometers of winds, heavy rain and dangerous storm surges. Hurricane Matthew, a Category 4 storm, made landfall at the southwestern tip at about 11 hours GMT. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Haiti was getting everything a major hurricane can throw at them. Haiti's interim president says a number of people had been killed so far. The European Parliament has backed the ratification of the Paris Climate Deal, paving the way for the world's first global agreement. The deal aims to limit greenhouse gas emissions and keep global temperature increases well below 2 degrees Celsius. It was approved with 610 votes in favor, 38 against, and with 31 abstentions. The vote, attended by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, paves the way for the pact to come into force globally. The deal on Tuesday means national ministers can now ratify the agreement on behalf of the EU later this week. Turkey has suspended almost 13,000 police officers for their alleged links with the US-based Muslim cleric Fethullah Gulen. The latest wave adds to the 100,000 or so government workers dismissed or suspended since July's failed coup. Mr. Gulen denies the government's accusation that he or his supporters orchestrated the coup. The government in turn rejects claims it is using the coup as an excuse to get rid of its opponents. It insists those without proven links to the coup will be freed. And on that note, we end the news. For these and more stories, be sure to log on to our website and be sure to join us for our next bulletin at 10 p.m. My name is Michelle Malunga. Good evening.